Hello, powerful people. This is Acacia with the weekly update on EmbRace Healing, my campaign to promote racial healing and reconciliation. I would like to say 2 weeks left before the big trip, and I'm just so busy and excited and filled with a lot of things to do. So one thing that really hit me, I had a conversation last week. I'm a member of Toastmasters International, and as part of preparation for this trip, I've been talking with different people and giving speeches and really grounding myself in what it is that I have to say. And I already know what I have to say, but it's helpful to have a space to articulate that and get a little bit more support on how to best deliver my message. Well, last week I had the pleasure of speaking before my fellow Toastmasters, and we did just had a conversation. And one of the things that the guys expressed to me when they were critiquing is the need to be more evocative, the need to be more pointed in my expressions and not approach this topic as if it's light and gentle, fluffy and airy like a little bunny, but really address it head on like the dragon that it is. It is a fire-breathing, scaly dragon, racism. And it is not for me to go into battle or to go into it assuming that I'm going to be addressing something as gentle, fragile, and innocent as a bunny. So I'm very well aware of that, and I know that that's something that I will bring in terms of my approach. I am not the type of person who sees the world with super duper rosy glasses. I do like to have optimism. I do like to be optimistic. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have any ounce of hope or optimism that there's an opportunity to promote and increase awareness for the value of racial healing and reconciliation on the individual level, on the group level, when we think about our conversations in our respective organizations around racial equity and inequity and social justice work, and then also on a larger, broader scale when we think of our organizational and community efforts to promote racial equity and social justice and looking at racial healing as a core component of that conversation. So I'm very well aware of the nastiness of racism in the U.S., the historic roots, the bitter roots of injustice, and the many manifestations of racism in this nation. So when I come onto the screen and I present in a more positive and upbeat manner, especially on weekly updates, it is not to dismiss or pretend as if I'm not aware of it and to treat this topic as if it's gentle and friendly and lovely and airy, because it's not. And I'm well aware of that. But I really appreciate the gentleman, the guy who said that to me, because I don't want to give the impression and come across as if I'm naive to this, as if I'm skipping into this like la la la, because I'm not. So put that out there. I had the pleasure this past week of connecting with amazing people in a 2.5-day peacemaking circle with some folks in Seattle. And it's convened through Seattle University and the Center for Ethical Leadership. Two dynamic people came together. Dr. Pamela Taylor and Keiko Azuki came and facilitated a conversation and helped us understand the peacemaking process. And I tell you, it was raw. You know, the thing about this work, and especially what I'm hoping to facilitate, but I understand that a 10-day, 7-city trip won't necessarily let me go that deep. One of the biggest things that I'm hoping to convey to people is the importance of trust building and relationships. I think that when we go into battling some level of injustice, when we go into addressing some sort of problem in our society, if we don't get to know the people that we work with, if we don't build trust and establish relationships and really invest time to foster those relationships, then we go into problems and potentially develop more problems between the people who we work with, but they're perfect strangers to us. And I really, truly appreciate the space that I was in this past weekend, where I met with people and we talked about all the things that we were dealing with, the baggage, the frustrations, the discomfort. I love it though, because it's a non-traditional, non-dominant approach to problem solving. We sit in a circle, each person has a chance to speak their piece and speak to the issue a circle keeper, the person who is maintaining the space, is responsible for asking us a series of questions and encouraging us to speak what we feel at that moment. We did a series of exercises where we got to talk one-on-one with each other and learn about our history and our journey through into social justice. We were able to just go there. And I really didn't want to leave that space. In the space, it ebbed and flowed. There were moments of just joy and exhilaration as we knew that we were on something and onto something, and we were happy to be on this journey linked arm in arm. But then there were those heavy moments where we felt like the world was hell in a hand, going to a handbasket, or hell in a handbasket, just hell, all out hell. And we couldn't stand the fact that things were the way they were, and all these forms of aggression and microaggression and psychological abuse and physical and spiritual abuse and all these things that were going on in the world we lived in our environment, in our city, in our state, in our country, in our world. And it's like, man, I mean, really? Why is this still going on? Can't people just get it? And that was a heavy experience. But then we wrap up and we realize that people came before us and people are currently doing this, and they didn't give up. And I see the beauty and the essence of all this work is you persevere and you push forward and you take time for yourself. And that was the purpose of that space that I was in, a space to take care and rejuvenate the social justice spirit that we possess and that we operate in. So I really enjoyed that, and I thank all the people that I got to connect with. All of you, you know who you are. It was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you again. So this week I also received the final list and location of all the Millennial Trains Project stops. So great breaking news, although it's pretty interesting. That's just my way of putting it. I will now be going to Chicago, Illinois. So originally my stops were Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Whitefish, Montana, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Paul, Minnesota, Detroit, and New York. But now instead of Detroit, we will be stopping in Chicago. So I would love to connect with anyone that you know of in each city. So if you do know of anyone, please make the connection. Share this video. Let them know what I'm doing. Spread the word. I'm looking forward to connecting and talking with them. And for those of you who are scratching your heads trying to figure out exactly what I'll be doing in each city, essentially convening conversations, having people sit down. Maybe there are folks who don't traditionally sit in the same space, folks who haven't talked to one another, don't have time. This is a space to just connect on the value and the importance of healing and what it looks like, what we've done individually in our work, in our space, what we've considered collectively, what we can do globally and on a community level. And this is that space. This is having group meetings, conversations, and documenting that. And I'll be sharing the findings, the feedback, the results of these conversations after the trip when I return and have a chance to reflect on this. So I would love to hear from all of you. I invite you, if you're watching this video, my supporters, people who are curious and interested in this topic, and especially those of you who will be in each of the cities that I just mentioned. That's Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, St. Paul, Minnesota, Whitefish, Montana, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, New York City, New York. If you'll be in any of those cities between August 7th and 17th, please contact me on EmbRaceHealing.org. That's EmbRace healing.org. You can also follow me on Twitter at EmbRace_healing. And please shoot me a message. Facebook, I have a Facebook group, and that's EmbRace Healing. So feel free to join the group and share your thoughts, and please do participate wherever you can. I look forward to connecting with all of you, sharing more updates. So let's heal, let's build, let's do this. Choo choo. Thanks.